Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Linskins. I hope you enjoyed the intro. If you did enjoy it, stay tuned for a special ending or skip to the end. Today I'm building a really special build because it's for Rory Plays the Sims spooky group collab, where she gathered over 100 people to create spooky content within the Sims franchise. Rory, also known as Megan, is a super sweet and welcoming simmer. She welcomes everyone into the community without judgment and with open arms. She is a sweetheart, and I'm so happy for the opportunity. It wouldn't have really happened without her. So, thank you so much, Rory Plays the Sims. I really appreciate being included in this collab. Today is also pretty special because I'm building the pumpkin house, and if you don't know what it is, I will give you a really quick brief history. It's a real place in a small town in West Virginia. It's a super neat house owned by the mayor of the town. The house is over 100 years old and is housed by over 3,000 pumpkins, so that's like a lot of pumpkins. And that's each Halloween. And it's made possible by the locals who volunteer throughout the month of October. And they go in the backyard and they carve the pumpkins so that on Halloween they will have enough to display. And it used to be that each year was bigger than the last, but now I think they just try to keep 3,000? I'm not sure. I really don't know. I couldn't find too much more information. It's a tradition that started in the 70s with only a few pumpkins, like just like, I don't know, 20 or 30. And then it eventually became a local attraction when there was like a local elderly lady. She saw the glow in the distance and thought there was a house on fire. But instead of a fire, it was the pumpkins, and she was like, oh wow. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. At least that's what I read on the internet. So the display also includes, which I will point out to you later in this build when we get to it, like a black wall of pumpkins that are synced to music, so that whenever the music plays, the pumpkins light up at the same time. So it's pretty neat. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like the Christmas lights that light up to music. It's sort of like that, only Halloween style. So yeah, after the event is over, I found that this is really neat, and I really appreciate it because I would consider myself to be environmentally friendly, or I really care about the environment. The mayor donates the pumpkins to local farms for animal feed or manure, so they don't go to waste. He actually uses them to help local farmers. So I thought that was really neat. So fun little fact. I personally love this place, and every year for the past few years, my husband and I have gone to the pumpkin house, and sometimes we get dressed up, sometimes we don't, but we go usually with friends and just really enjoy it. This house is built after, it was kind of like modeled after the Victorian era, and it is so beautiful in person. I don't feel like I did it justice in The Sims. I really don't. I'm in love with this place, and I hope I did it justice. There are a lot of things that I couldn't include, like there were certain wall textures and stuff that wouldn't work because of the top part. The top part, that little peak, is very special. It's a very special characteristic, and I was a little bit disappointed I couldn't get some of those characteristics in it. Like, it has like 4 windows coming out of the very top peak, but The Sims won't let me do that for some reason. I don't know why. Like, it'll let you do it, but it just looks funny to me. So I just I didn't end up doing it. This is a more like rudimentary, simpler design of the pumpkin house. So I hope it's okay. I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. And the way I built this, I kind of guessed a lot of the placement by doing some research. A lot of pictures are of the facade or the front of the house, so that wasn't very helpful. I actually had to watch a video and take screenshots, and I'm really not sure how accurate it is. But I used my imagination, and like, especially with the back of the house, I have no clue how accurate it is. Because I don't usually go out into the back. You usually go to the sides and the front to look at the pumpkins, and then the back is where all of the locals carve the pumpkins. So, oh yeah, here we are working on the musical wall of pumpkins, and I think I build this and just kind of like leave it for a little bit, and then I get back to it later on in the build. I'm so happy with the way this turned out. Here I am actually trying to get all of my supplies and pumpkins, trying to figure out how I'm gonna display things, because usually he has some sort of like, I think he builds like, what do you call them? They're not, I guess they could be bleachers, but I don't really, like some sort of scaffolding or something to put them on, because there are so many, and some go in the house, some don't. So and actually there's a tree that I'm trying to place just right here, and I couldn't figure out which tree to use. I think I enlarged one, but there's a really cool like shelf that goes around it, and usually there's like hay bales kind of stacked up, and then the guy places it on that. But yeah, and it's just a beautiful little town. It's like one of those perfect small towns. Like, it really is a small town. Like, it's about, I don't know, four blocks of street, and then there's the next neighborhood, or the next town. So, but it is the cutest town. I am in love with this town. There's a pizza shop we go to sometimes. I don't live in this town, but it is close to me. Or closer to me, and it's a nice little place. I really like it. They have a seasonal ice cream shop open all year long, or not all year long, only from like I think it's like spring to October, because they sell pumpkin ice cream and it's delicious. This is where I was struggling to do, because I wanted to do the top window thing with the pop-out window, but it just wouldn't let me, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, those things kind of like slant out, and there's just no way I could have done it. See, I'm trying there, and it doesn't look right. So I was like, no. So yeah, and actually I ended up putting a little bit of a secret, which you guys will see at the very end in that little peek room, because I really couldn't make that a usable space. I tried, but it won't let me place a staircase in there, so I just made it a really secret room, and I'm really excited. It'll probably freak a lot of you out, I'm hoping. It has something to do with the news lately, so I think if you're not terrified by it, you'll probably just get a really good giggle out of it. Here I am actually placing all the pumpkins out, and I just placed a ton of them out on the lawn, and then I copy some of them. Some of them wouldn't let me copy, but I went into debug mode and got all the carved pumpkins from like the pumpkin carving station. So that's what I'm doing here. There are so many too. I was really worried that they would look too much the same. There wouldn't be enough change in the patterns. Like, I thought it would just look too uniform, but it ended up being really good. I placed them in such a way that I feel like there's enough diversity and everything. But back to the house itself, I don't know what the inside looks like. You can kind of see in when you look at the pumpkins, but I've never really paid attention. And I tried to look on the videos, but there are no tours of the inside of the house, and I have to wonder if it's just because the mayor wants to keep his privacy. Because I could imagine that, like, you know, having all those people at your house, you kind of want some mystery still. And I don't think he's hiding anything. My Sims story is that they're hiding something in the very top floor, but this is not me saying that they are. I don't know what the inside looks like, and my imagination went wild while I was getting all the pumpkins out, because this was a really long process, and so I'm a very creative person. I'm not trying to sound vain or whatever, but sometimes when I daydream, I think of stories relating to my Sims builds, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like has nothing to do with the actual house, and if locals see this, I hope they're not like offended or anything like that, because that was not my intent. It's mainly just to create a story for the group collab and kind of laugh at the news. So, and you'll soon find out what I mean by that. Yeah, we're placing the pumpkins on the stairwell, and the Sims cannot enter through the front door. They have to go around the back. So, if you download this to your game, just keep that in mind. That's why it's like that. I just love those little cat pumpkins. I just think they're the cutest. I really do. Yeah, I don't know. But this part took forever. I think this overall took me about 3 days to make. And then it's taken me another 2 days to edit because I want it to be perfect. Because I feel like it just needs to be perfect. So I finally decided on these shelves rather than the tables with the frayed like cloth. So that's kind of what I go with there. And we're just moving all the pumpkins over. So yeah, this is fun. But yeah, so I think I may end the speaking part here. I'm just gonna wrap this up by saying I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope this was interesting, and if you keep watching, I hope you enjoy it. If not, at least skip to the end. I'll try to remember to put an annotation so you can skip to the end. Also, have a safe Halloween. If you have little kids or trick-or-treaters, then please remember to check their candy. I think in the United States, trick-or-treaters, like the houses with the trick-or-treaters, like to have like a head nod of like, oh, this house is clean, they paint a pumpkin turquoise. So that's really, really nice of them, and I like that. So yeah, please enjoy the rest of this build. And if you like this, please hit the thumbs up button. If you would like to see more, please hit subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Enjoy!